The Guardian Ad Litem program becomes the voice for children who have been removed from their homes due to allegations of abuse, neglect, or abandonment. All the details about how you can help are coming up next on Polk Place. Hi, welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Diane Schmelz, the Recruitment and Community Outreach Coordinator with the Guardian Ad Litem program.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Always love having you here because the Guardian Ad Litem program is near and dear to my heart. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what it is and what you guys do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Love the opportunity. Well, we become the voice for the children who've been removed from their homes because of the abuse or neglect allegations. We don't remove the children, and we don't have to do any investigations, which is wonderful. Puts us in a position that nobody is angry or upset with us. But we are appointed by the judge, and he has a couple of things he wants us to do. One of them is gather information so that we can make recommendations as to what we believe is best for the children. The judges and the magistrates really take our recommendations seriously because our focus is just the kids. You know, they have mom and dad and their attorneys in the courtroom. They have the Department of Children and Families and investigators and case managers. They've got unbelievable amount on their plate they need to accomplish. Our focus is just the kids, and the judges know that. While we do that, which is extremely important because we do send reports to the court about every 4 months, we become often the only consistent adult in that child's world because placements change. They've been let down by parents. They've already been removed, maybe separated from brothers and sisters. If they're in foster care, they could be moved a few times. They might be with a relative and then that relative becomes ill and then they go into foster care. So they change homes, they change schools, they lose friends. They don't think they matter. They don't think anybody cares. And then their guardian shows up. So we don't house them, but by visiting them at least once a month, lots of our volunteers visit more than that, because they get to like the kids and know the kids, and they know how important that visit is to those children. So that's kind of what we do. It only takes 6 or 7 hours a month, which is such a little bit of time.
It is.
Yeah, and a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, it's going to take hours and hours a week. It isn't, and it's very flexible. You do visits, you do calls, you gather information when it works for your schedule.
And it's so important. I mean, I know I have 3 adopted kids, and my oldest was in 9 different foster homes. I mean, just over and over. And the only consistent was Mr. John, his guardian ad litem. And it's one of the only people he trusted. And it was so important because he had no trust bond with anybody.
Right.
So that, you know, paved the way to him being able to eventually trust me through the adoption.
Sure.
So you guys are doing such an important, incredibly important service for these kids, and for the parents. I mean, you're also helping them because you're helping them get a little bit of stability.
Exactly. Because especially since we step in not being the enemy, we help diffuse the situation very often.
Exactly.
Mom and dad, they kind of have had their worst offenses ripped open for everybody to weigh in. We don't have to weigh in on them. We don't agree with it, but we can be maybe the healing touch that helps this family correct issues so they can get their children back. That is our first goal, to reunify. And we try very hard to give the parents every opportunity to make that work. Sometimes drug issues or whatever their allegations happen to be are just too big, and they don't ever seem to be able to conquer them. Then we want to be able to make sure these kids don't grow up in the system. They need a loving home, like you provided for the 3. They need to know they matter.
Yes,
that there is
absolutely.
somebody out there, that they are not going to spend years and years and years in the system. And a lot of them are volunteers. They push them away at first.
Oh, they do.
They're afraid you're going to walk away because that's the experiences they've had.
Over and over.
Right. So by being consistent, keep going back and going back. Even when the kids don't act like they care, they care.
They do.
care so much. They just don't want to be hurt again, which is totally understandable. You say 9 foster homes. I don't think I've lived in 9 places in my whole life.
Me either. I think I'm on my 4th.
Yeah, and how do you stay consistent? Friends you lose, and all of a sudden you have a teacher maybe that you just love that teacher, but you don't spend a full year in that classroom because you're moved. So hard for these kids. If we can help make life a little normal for them and let them be kids, let us be the responsibility of being the adult and talking to the judge and recommending for the kids, and let them be kids.
Yes, it's very important. So if somebody's out there listening and they're like, oh, I have a heart for kids, what is the process for becoming a volunteer and the requirements?
Okay, well, Heart for Kids, you got what it takes. That's what we need first and foremost. We do have an application process. If you are 19, you can volunteer, but we have to match you up with someone over 21. At 21, you can take a case on your own. But a lot of these 19, 20-year-olds, they're in college. They're great role models. You know, they're young. Education is important. So I don't want to discourage anybody just because you're young. We'll pair you with someone. So you do an application. I meet with the volunteers to try to get to know them because I believe everyone is coming with gifts and talents and insights and life lessons that, boy, we can use what you're bringing. One thing less we have to teach you. So you do an application, we do background checks, we do fingerprints. Anyone with felonies, we are not allowed to accept because we're putting with kids. Okay. So we've got to be very careful. Misdemeanors, so we can work around those, and case by case we go to our state office and see what we can do. We do have a training. Training happens every single month. Our training in January, we're hoping for a big training because December becomes a little bit light because everybody's so busy with the holidays. Right. But come January, we want to hit the ground running in the new year.
And that's a great resolution to actually, do something.
Absolutely.
Do something to solve the problem.
Exactly. Boy, as you're making New Year's resolutions, put us on your list.
Yes.
Because it's an easy thing to do. And a lot of times people, they think it's more overwhelming. They don't realize that 6 or 7 hours a month is all they need. They worry about safety, and no one is ever going to ask anyone to go to any place that's unsafe or even uncomfortable. So we're very careful about our volunteers. The kids have been removed from the home where the abuse happened. So right away, your safety is elevated. And we tell volunteers, if you drive down the street to see the children at a relative's home and you're a little worried about the neighborhood, don't stop. We can see the kids at school. Your mentor can go with you. Your coordinator can go. We can work it out. So any hesitation, we have an answer for her because we've got almost 2,200 children right now in the county. So we have a huge need for volunteers.
Absolutely. So your next training is coming up at the end of January.
It is, the end of January. So I try to do the application and the interview first to get to know the volunteers and then do a good match with which one of our 22 coordinators they'll work with.
And is that training located here in Bartow?
It is. It's right here in Bartow. We do, the county is big. Yeah, it is. As we get people from the Davenport, Haines City, Poinciana area, when we get 5 or 6 together, we put up a training in that area, a one-day. So if anybody, any place in the county or Highlands or Hardy County are interested, we can work out a location that's going to be convenient and easy to get to.
And that's a great thing about you guys, is you really do everything in your power to make it as easy as possible for them to, for your volunteers to help.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even when they're on a case, if in a given month they get sick, they get company, they go on vacation, and they can't do their visit, we're going to jump in and do it for them. They're going to have an attorney and a coordinator right in the office.
So is there any cost with the background screenings or
There isn't. Like the state covers the cost for the background screening. It's done during training, so nobody's even got to make an extra trip to get it done.
Excellent.
Person comes right to us, makes it really convenient. We do have some homework, but that is online. It's some videos to watch, some reading, so we make it as user-friendly and easy as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody's out there and they're like, they're not quite ready to jump in and be a volunteer, you guys have additional ways that people can get involved and help.
We do, we do. We started this year, we've always collected gifts at the holidays, so their guardian can take a gift to the children. this year, we got smart and we started a registry on Amazon. I don't know why we didn't think of it before, but we have put gift suggestions on our registry that people can go to Amazon.com. They can look at our registry. They just look up Guardian Ad Litem, and then when they search that, the one that comes up, Bartow, Florida, is us. The baby registry opens up and they can choose any gift and have it shipped right to the office. Our address is there, and you know, during the year everybody is very generous at the holidays, but we have kids that have birthdays that come up. Maybe they finally pass a test. We love to have some supplies in the office that the guardians can come in and get a gift, even a small gift, to reward these kids for something positive.
Because it may be the only gift they get.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the time these kids are taken from their homes and they have nothing but more than a garbage bag with some clothes in it. So they lose everything, and it's heartbreaking. So that's definitely a way people can help. You also accept donations.
We do. We have a 501c3, a nonprofit, so everything is tax deductible. If you do it on Amazon, you have your receipts. If any individuals or groups want to, donate a check, Speak Up for Children is our nonprofit. They gladly will accept gifts anytime. We use the money there very, very frugally. We really do. Sometimes there is an expense that maybe isn't covered anyplace else. Maybe the child needs some kind of orthodontic work that becomes more cosmetic. Well, that's not covered then. But for that child's self-esteem, they need this done. Our nonprofit very often jumps in and covers those expenses that wouldn't be covered otherwise.
That's amazing, because kids and bullying, it's such a crisis right now that
it is. Anything
that can, dampen that down and keep that from happening is great.
And when you're the new child at school, over and over and over.
Over and over.
The chances for you being bullied, I mean, they worry about little things as far as my hair doesn't look right, I don't have the right outfit, I'm the new kid. Imagine if you really had something that was more disfiguring, or you felt, I don't look good, there goes their self-esteem. We need to do everything we can do to help build up the self-esteem. These kids are the victims,
They are. And they're already fighting enough insecurities, and just the fact that they can't count on anybody, and that's enough. I mean, they shouldn't even have to deal with that.
No, I can't imagine. As an adult, I can list people going back as far as I can remember that influenced me and made me feel special. I thought, I can't imagine if you didn't have that, or you didn't know if anybody even cared. Oh gosh, how do you survive that?
I have no idea. My kids have been through it, and I've done everything in my power over the last 7 years to provide them with people who will love them, and it's hard.
It is.
It's hard because their behavior isn't always the most stellar, and they still have moments and issues and triggers that other people don't understand, who haven't worked with foster kids or adoptive kids, and it's completely foreign to them, and they're like, well, I don't understand why they're acting that way. You deal with it at the school, you deal with it at all levels, and that's another way the Guardian Litem program helps, because it's giving them somebody that understands where they're coming from, that has experience in dealing with these kids who might not be understood otherwise.
Right. And even we've done a lot of work dealing with teachers, especially PTA. I actually did a workshop at a PTA conference to let the teachers know the guardian is not just another person that you have to call tonight when you get home. You're like, oh, one more person. We're the person who has the ear of the judge. You have those kids in school. You can let us know what their needs are. How many times have you had a child that you think things are falling through the cracks? If I only knew who to tell us. Let's work together as a team, because as a team we can get more accomplished for these kids.
I definitely still, to this day, miss my Guardian Litem. So it is a wonderful program, and I definitely recommend everybody to make their New Year's resolution to help you guys
wonderful.
somehow.
I would love it. I would love it. We can't be too busy.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Guardian Ad Litem program's goal is to heighten the awareness and the need for additional child advocate volunteers. The Guardian Ad Litem program becomes the voice for children who have been removed from their homes due to allegations of abuse, neglect, or abandonment. The Guardian gathers information and makes recommendations as to what they feel is in the best interest of the child they are appointed to represent. They also become a mentor, trusted friend, and constant adult in the child's life. They have ongoing training classes that have flexible times in the morning and evening available. Training sessions are approximately every 4 weeks. Application and interview needs to be completed before attending training. For more information, you can give them a call at 863-534-2547 or look them up on the web at www.becomeaguardian.com.